When I first came to Bali, it wasn't really about what was on land. It was more about what we could find underwater. I would say Padangbai's got some of the best diving around Bali. So I've been a diver for 20 years. My background is computer science, but somehow I fell in love with the ocean and I ended up here in Padangbai, Bali, restoring coral reefs. I'm Leon Boey. Okay, so we're gonna head up to the abandoned hotel now. I mean, up there you can see most of Padangbai. I mean, look at that view. Amazing, right? Welcome to Padangbai, Bali. That's Mount Agung right there, Bali's biggest mountain. That's actually one of the big 4 temples in Bali. So where we are right now, if we drove over to where the Silayukti temple is, it's maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And that's really how big Padangbai is. It's smaller than one street in Ang Mo Kio. Padangbai is the first natural harbour on the east coast of Bali. So a lot of people take the fast boats or the slow ferries, go over to Lombok or Gili. Not many people stay over. There's not more than 4,000 people in Padangbai at any one time. I've been living here in Padangbai since 2020. I started diving with Living Seas in 2005. At the time, we were doing wrecks out in the South China Sea. So I started leading diving trips. Became an instructor in about 1 year in, and eventually I took over the company. Then during the pandemic, I chose to stay in Bali. It was probably the best decision I've made in my life because it allowed me the time away from tourism so we could do marine restoration in a big way. So we're heading over to the pontoon right now, and we're going to pick up some more crates and we're going to harvest the wild corals from Chalidasa. They're going to reclaim the beach and they're going to cover up a few thousand square meters of coral. So we're going to try and save them. We're going to bring them over to our site so that we can plant them later on. If we leave them there, 100% of them are going to die. For the 15 years that I've been diving here in Padangbai, some of the degraded sites have not recovered at all. And that made me think that active restoration is necessary. When you talk about reefs, divers are the ones that see it the most. When we go diving, we recognize what is changing in that environment for the better or for the worse. I started thinking about restoration and conservation back in 2010. I was diving in Phuket at this island called Koh Bon. A beautiful place, hundreds of square meters of reef, mantas overhead, and lots of small fish swimming around. So when I went back in October, all the corals were dead, all the little fish were gone. It made a very deep emotional impact on me that I wanted to do something about it. Today we harvested about 36 crates of coral. So this, where we're at right now, is the restoration site. We're just dropping them into the water to store first. Then tomorrow we're going to attach them to the nursery so they can continue to grow. So when I started out with Living Seas, I was focusing on conservation. Right now, Living Seas is primarily shifted into marine restoration. All our diving activity is around restoration. So people can come and join and dive and plant corals with us. So this is where I stay. I mean, it's simple, there's nothing much here, and I don't actually spend so much time here. It's kind of small, good little community here. I didn't leave Singapore because I was unhappy with it or anything like that. It's just that doing diving, I need to explore the world. I always had a return ticket. It was really only the pandemic that suddenly I had no return ticket. And that's when I decided to stay. So my transition took 10 years really to change from a Singaporean to a Singaporean living in Bali. Oh, 10 bungkus ya? I see. So I just bought some babi guling. This is a Balinese specialty. Everybody who comes to Bali must try this. And I always come here to eat, one of my favorites. Mana lancar di Adani 2?
Pernah ke sana? Adani 2?
Pernah, berapa kali. Sering kalau ke Kelungkung atau ke Denpasar, kita lewat makan di sana juga.
Terima kasih.
Yeah. When we started scaling up the restoration, we knew we needed to have locals on board because this is their ocean, this is their land. And if we don't convince them that what we're doing is a good thing, then we will never get the support. Hey, apa kabar?
Hey, baik bro.
Babi guling
Oh,
semuanya.
okay. Thank you.
Taruh aja. So this is Surip. He's one of my oldest friends here. Now he's working with me for a couple of years already. This is his home and his family. So we come here all the time to hang out.
Ini tenda, untuk sepeda motor besar.
Berarti-
Adanya hujan angin kita duduk di sini nggak ada.
Dari sini keluar. I like to drink, I like to hang out, I like to have conversations with people. So that kind of fit pretty well with how the Balinese do things.
Awalnya saya bertemu Leon, saya kira dia cuma sebagai turis saja datang ke Bali. Yang merasa surprise dari Leon itu ya lumayan bisa bahasa Bali juga dan juga mau bergaul sama local people dan mau juga bergabung sama orang-orang lokal di sini.
Bali is a very tight-knit society, so everybody's a family member of somebody else. So getting close to the right people makes a lot of difference in assimilating into a place.
Leon itu sudah sangat banyak membantu orang lokal di sini, termasuk teman saya di Desa Antiga yang belum mempunyai pekerjaan.
They told their friends, they told their families, and then eventually the whole village knows what we're doing. Without the community support, I think things will be much more challenging. So apart from Surik working with us, Surik's father also works with us, and Surik's wife. And his sister helps to clean a bit also, part-time. So it really is a family affair. One of the benefits as a Singaporean coming here to Bali is seeing Bali through Singaporean eyes. How do we move faster as a business? How do we test and experiment things? And that gives us an edge because most other places are not thinking the same way. So that helps us to stand out. So welcome to the pontoon, welcome to Living Seas. This is our site right in front here. So right now we've got almost 6,600 square meters of area planted. So the divers will get the chance to go all the way through that. Yeah? We've got a lot of life over this area. I had to refigure how to make this into a tourism activity that's not just ecotourism but is actually regenerative. So this is a reef star. It's our standard structure. This holds up to 18 coral fragments. We want to have the live coral touching the structure so that it can grow onto the structure. So each person who comes here gets to plant their own structure, hold their own corals, attach them to the structure, and then see that structure being built into the reef. You get to touch it, feel it, smell it, interact with it, and you leave some kind of emotional connection with the reef after that. In Bali, they have this philosophy called Tri Hita Karana. And it talks about respect for the land, respect for the people, respect for the culture. We're not just changing the ocean itself, but we're also impacting people. For me, when I dive here, this is something that I built. This is something that I see is changing for the better all the time. And it gives diving a whole different other dimension. That kind of connection you cannot take away. So today what we got on the table is got some bak chor mee, some chicken rice over there, a sweet and sour prawn, and then the siu yok and our curry chicken. So this is where we feed our staff. but it's also open to the public. The thing I always miss about Singapore was the food. So now having my own restaurant and having Singaporean food here, it makes me really happy. So it's like a little piece of home here. I don't need to go back to Singapore so often.
I'm just trying to find my way.
So here we are on the way to White Sand Beach. It's one of the hidden beaches here in Padangbai. It's actually pretty famous around Bali, but to be honest, I've never actually been there myself. Over the years I've been here, there were many failures. There were many things that went wrong, there were many things that could have gone better. But I guess I'm stubborn enough to still stick it out and be here. I remember there was a song that said, "Home is where you lay your hat." I chose to lay my hat here. I have a life here that gives me purpose. Singapore will never not be home, but I think having built something that I'm proud of makes me want to just stay here.